In this video, we're going to discuss some of the new features of Karma 2.0. The first thing we're going to cover is some of the new shortcodes. So we're going to click on Pages, and we're just going to click on one of these demo pages. Now, the shortcodes work just as they did before. You just edit the page that you want to change, and then right over here you click on the shortcode manager. Now you're going to notice in the drop down menu we've reorganized things a little bit, and we've also added a bunch of new shortcodes. So we're not going to cover every single one, but we're just going to go through some of the main ones. So just a few things we're going to point out. You notice the column layouts with images. There used to be two variations. There used to be a modern and a shadow frame. We've combined that shortcode into one single shortcode, so it's much easier. So for instance, we're going to go ahead, we'll insert two columns with images, and then insert. And then you'll notice that it looks similar to just as before. But the one difference is, or one of the differences is, right here it says style equals modern. So if we wanted to make this a shadow frame, we would just type in shadow. So style equals shadow. So now you can easily switch between modern and shadow using the same image frame. So it just helps, again, speed things up, lighten the theme a little bit, and make it easier for you to easily switch between both of them. Alright, so we're just going to erase these. Alright, we're going to click the shortcode manager. One of the new shortcodes is light boxes. So you can now insert a lightbox image. So it essentially looks just like one of the gallery pages. So it'll have the thumbnail, and then when you click on the thumbnail, it'll open up the lightbox, and that can link to an outside item. So you'll see this new section, column layouts with lightboxes. So we're just going to go ahead and we'll insert 3 columns plus lightboxes and choose insert. All right, and it works similar to the default image frame. So you'll see there's an image path, and you have to specify the image path of the thumbnail. And then there's also this pop-up attribute, and this is where you specify the URL for your pop-up. So for instance, if it's a Flash SWF, you link to the Flash. If it's an image, you link to the image. So just as you would normally set up a gallery item, you just insert the pop-up right in there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our media library, and we're just going to choose one of these images just for demo purposes, and click on File URL, and then we're just going to copy this URL and close the window. And image path, we're just going to paste that in there, and then for the pop-up we'll do the same thing, and we'll just do it to all 3. This is just for demo purposes. So these will be 3 light boxes that will link to images in the pop-up. So we just go ahead and update, and come back over to the browser and refresh. Alright, and you'll see that we now have the pop-up. So if we click on it, it'll link to the image that we specified. So again, it's very powerful. You can add these light boxes anywhere throughout the site. One thing we want to note about the light boxes, and it's also true with the gallery page, is you can now link to an outside page instead of the pop-up. So for instance, if we wanted to go ahead and do that on one of these, you'll see within the shortcode it says link to page. So we're going to type in a URL. And you can also specify the target. So by default it'll open up in the same window. If you wanted to open up in a new window, you would just do _blank, and then we're going to hit update and come back and refresh. And you'll notice now that if we hover over this middle item, now since it links to an outside page and it doesn't link to the lightbox, it now has this little arrow on hover. So it's just a nice little feature. So if we click this, and it will go to Google. So the same thing is true for the gallery page, and I'll cover that in just a minute. So on the gallery pages, you can also link to an outside page instead of the lightbox. So again, it's just a new feature. It was requested by a lot of users, so we added that in there for you. Okay, so that's the lightbox shortcodes. Some of the other new shortcodes are we have callout boxes. So we've created callout boxes to match every single color scheme. So you just scroll down, and you'll see the callout boxes area, and you just choose the color that you want and choose insert, and then it'll insert this callout shortcode. You'll notice there's a font size, so you can right here specify the font size. The default is 13 pixels, and then it'll show the style and the content right here. You just edit the content. So we're just going to go ahead and just grab some content and paste it in there, and then update the page and refresh, and you'll see that we now have a call out box. So it's a nice little, just like a nice little item. It's a good way to highlight something on your site. If it's something that you definitely want users to read, you can have that, and it's completely flexible with the columns. So for instance, I'll go ahead and insert two columns. So we'll just choose two columns and insert, and then I'm just gonna copy this shortcode that we just created, and I'm gonna insert inside one of these columns, and then I'm gonna update the page. And if I refresh, you'll see that the callout box will automatically adjust size based on the size of the column. Okay, another one of the shortcodes is a recent blog posts. So some of you wanted to display recent blog posts on the home page, so we went ahead and added a shortcode for you. So you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see it says latest blog posts. So we just choose insert. Okay, and you'll see we have the count, so the blog post count. So however many items you want to display. By default, it's 4. We recommend somewhere between 3 and 5. Then the title. This is what's displayed above the items. You can leave that blank if you want, or you can enter the title. And then the link text. After each blog post item, it'll have a link that links to the full blog post. So by default, it says read more. You can have that say whatever you want. And the character count. This is how many characters get displayed. So by default, it shows 115 characters. And again, you can adjust that based on your needs. So we're just going to hit update and come back and refresh, and you'll see that it displays these blog posts. So I'll just change some of the items just so you can see. So for instance, the title, that gets changed right here. So it says title equals, and we're just going to type in demo. And the link text, so right now it says read more. We'll just type in continue reading. And then the character count, right now it's 115. We'll change it to 215. And then update and refresh. And you'll see that all those items change. So it now says demo. It now says continue reading instead of read more. And then there's more characters being displayed. So it's a nice little feature. Again, this can be used anywhere throughout the site. It's a nice little way to add blog posts to the home page and things like that. Alright, so that covers it for the shortcodes. Actually, real quick, there's also portrait frame shortcodes. So they work just the same as image frames, but they're just the different dimensions. So I'm just going to go through it real quick. So we're going to scroll down to the individual image frames, and you'll see there's a portrait full size and a portrait thumbnail. So we're just going to insert the thumbnail just for demo. And it works exactly the same as the other image frame shortcode. So we just want to specify an image. So we're just going to grab an image real quick. Alright, we're just going to copy the link to the image and close the window. And then we're just going to paste that in there and update. And refresh. And you'll see a nice little portrait style image frame. Okay, so that just about does it for the shortcodes. The next thing I want to discuss is page templates.